Revealed, the divine cost of morality. 3 supernatural secrets to heavenly manifestation uncovered. In the heart of Little Hope, darkness crept through the village like a thick fog, shrouding Samuel's cherished home with despair. A horrid illness swept over the families, leaving the once vibrant gatherings diminished and voices hushed. But nothing prepared Samuel for the severing blow that struck deep. His beloved daughter, Eliza, had succumbed to its cruel grip. She lay feverish, pale and frail, a wisp of the joyful girl who danced under the warm sun of previous summers. It was in this raw moment of anguish that whispers of divine help began to reach his ears, echoing like a heavenly symphony of hope. 3 supernatural secrets, Father Michael had said, his eyes glimmering like candles in the twilight. They sat in the dimly lit church office, heavy with the weight of years' worth of prayers and secrets, the air thick with the scent of worn parchment and wood. The power of prayer, the promises in God's word, and the community's intercession, together they can manifest miracles. Samuel breathed deeply, the words igniting a tiny ember of belief in the hollow of his heart, but also igniting fresh doubts. Can prayer truly alter the course of fate? It was Sunday, a day when the congregation gathered to rise above the shadows with melodies that inspired the heavens. During the service, Samuel stood before the loyal faces of his neighbors, his heart pounding like a war drum. "This illness will not conquer us," he declared, and as he spoke, the church seemed to flicker with an otherworldly glow, reverberating with unshakable strength. His voice swelled, guided by unseen hands, and yet, as murmurs of skepticism unsettled the pews, questions of faith emerged like dark clouds on a sunny day. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the stars emerged, Samuel organized a night of prayer. The villagers clutched their lanterns, flickering lights struggling against the cold. Hope surged in their midst, and desperation mixed with faith hung in the air. Kneeling before the altar, Samuel poured his soul into the whispered plea for Eliza's healing. A strange stillness enveloped the church, and in that silence, a ripple of divine presence danced through the gathered souls. Glorious light broke through the veil of night, golden rays spilling across the room as the breath of God filled their lungs. With tears streaming down his face, Samuel laid bare his heart, each word igniting a fire of faith once more. Suddenly, a sudden rustle stirred within the shadows, and a trembling gasp echoed through the assembly. Faces, once marred by sorrow, turned to Samuel wide-eyed, breaths bated. Had they witnessed the opening of heaven? As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, hope flickered towards Eliza. A soft stirring filled their hearts. Was this the miracle they yearned for? Samuel's heart raced with equal parts joy and trepidation. He looked toward his neighbors, searching their eyes for answers. Had they grasped the divine, and with it the cost of their flourishing faith? Boundless possibilities awaited on the edge of dawn, and Samuel stood poised between the stark reality and the realm of miracles. What secrets had the divine just whispered into existence? As morning light broke over Little Hope, a soft glow lit the church windows, illuminating the faces of the faithful gathered there. Samuel could feel the energy in the room pulse, a blend of hope and uncertainty wrapped around each heart like a fragile ribbon. Eliza's fate hung in the air like the mist fading at dawn, and the questions of many souls rippled quietly beneath a surface of eager anticipation. "What shall we do now, Samuel?" whispered Anna, a kind elderly woman whose wrinkled hands gripped the edge of the pew tightly. Her voice quivered like a feathered prayer caught in the draft. Around them, murmurs rose, betraying a shared longing, the desire for assurance. Samuel took a deep breath, inhaling the fresh scent of the morning while the warmth of the sun brushed his face. "We keep praying," he declared. "Eliza is our daughter. She is part of our family and our faith." Each word rang clear, steadying the disquietude that threatened to sweep through the crowd. As the villagers knelt together once more, Samuel's heart lifted with renewed fervor. They spoke the names of those afflicted into the void, entwining love with hope, as though weaving a blanket of spirit around Eliza and all the others who suffered. Samuel could see the flickers of desperation in their eyes, transforming slowly into sparks of belief. Time moved slowly in that sacred space, stretching under the weight of silence. Then, as though the very heavens were listening, a sound broke through. The softest, gentlest giggle echoed from the back of the church. Samuel's heart jolted. Could it be Eliza's laughter? He turned sharply, desperate for a sign. But no, it was the little children, a group of 3 playing with a tiny wooden toy thrown together from scraps and dreams. Their delight painted the room, casting out some of the sorrow that clung so heavily. Samuel's heart warmed, feeling the innocence of their joy lapping against his own pain. For a moment, he was reminded of Eliza's laughter, how it would dance up to the rafters and mingle with the hymns during Sunday service. "Perhaps joy and pain can coexist," he thought, cheeks wet with tears. As the spirit of the gathering pressed deeper into prayer, a hum began to resonate through the congregation, a sound that felt both earthly and divine. It became a song, a mighty echo of faith uniting all present, their voices spiraling toward the radiant ceiling. In that moment of surrender and collective yearning, the air crackled with a sacred energy. Samuel felt an irresistible urge to close his eyes. In that sacred stillness, visions began to swirl. That translucent veil between reality and the ethereal lifted just enough to allow a glimpse beyond. Samuel saw Eliza, her pale face now shimmering with light, a smile gracing her lips like sunbeams breaking through dark clouds. She danced among the angels, a little girl again, without the weight of illness. When he opened his eyes, his heart nearly erupted as fleeting laughter lingered in the air. "Lord, is this a promise?" he gasped, overwhelmed by the enormity of the experience. The gathered villagers paused, noticing the change in his aura, sensing the divine weight pooling in the atmosphere. "Samuel, what did you see?" a voice whispered from among them. Queries burned in their eyes, yearning for understanding. But Samuel could hardly grasp the fullness of the vision yet to reveal its meanings. The divine mystery teased at the edges of his comprehension, tantalizingly close, yet frustratingly elusive. Could prayer indeed be the bridge to healing? Could faith pull miracles down from the heavens into their reality? He stood in the presence of both answered prayers and lingering questions, ready yet hesitant to unlock the profound secrets that lay ahead. The air was thick with anticipation, a subtle pulse reverberating through the gathered souls. Samuel took a moment, letting the expectancy wash over him. It was as if everyone in the church held their breath, waiting for a divine whisper to bear witness to their collective faith. "God speaks in stillness," he murmured, his heart racing. Yet he felt the need to provide them with direction, an anchor in this storm of uncertainty. "We cannot stray from our hope. Eliza is a warrior. She's always been strong. Remember how she would heal the hurt hearts in our village with her kindness," he began, recalling moments painted in vibrant colors. "This darkness will not have the final say." A soft murmur moved through the congregation, emboldened by his words. Samuel continued, "Let us reflect on the promise of miracles, on faith that stirs the heavens. Prayer is our strongest weapon. With these words, a hush fell upon the assembly, warm and comforting like a blanket on a chilly night. Samuel knelt down, joining his hands, his palms open to the divine embrace he craved. The villagers followed suit, a chorus of souls momentarily forgotten by the weight of sorrow. Then, as though summoned by their fervent prayer, a light flickered at the altar. It was as if heaven had cracked open a sliver of its essence, pouring ethereal gold into the church. Samuel glanced up, feeling each heartbeat quicken around him. The villagers stirred with newfound energy. And there it was again, the laughter of children, now sharper and clearer. Samuel's heart swelled in recognition. It was the laughter that had once filled his home with joy and now served as a symbol of pure love. "Children, rejoice," he whispered, sensing the joy beginning to infiltrate their hearts. As whispers of hope danced between them, something shifted. The chilly undertones of despair began to fade away, replaced by these whispers of reassurance that they weren't alone in this fight. It seemed as if God arched his head down, enveloping them in a warm embrace, affirming their prayers. Among the confirmed gazes, questions began to flutter like startled birds. "Samuel, if Eliza is a light now, what must we do?" Anna implored, her wise eyes shining. "Wait with faith," he replied, feeling the weight of her question settle deep within him. "We trust in God's plan, even when it feels blurred. Perhaps to see clearly, we must learn to walk blindfolded. Can we do that, dear friends?" A moment of stillness washed over them. In the hearts of the faithful, doubt clashed with conviction, yet the spark of belief began igniting the truth in their spirits. Samuel felt the heavenly whisper, a challenge, a promise of something greater. Suddenly, a sense of urgency fell upon him. What if we prayed not just for Eliza's healing, but for clarity in our own lives? What if we sought deeper connections to unveil the miracles already upon us? Could we have the courage to ask? A deep hum resonated through the church once more, stronger than before. They joined in unity, voices rising, calling out for their lives, their loved ones, for healing not only in body but in spirit. Time seemed to stretch and bend, marked by moments that felt like eternity, oscillating between earth and heaven. Would their faith, collective and bulging with longing, be enough to unlock the divine secrets waiting to be revealed? Samuel closed his eyes once more, envisioning the flickering shadow of his daughter, a radiant beacon just beyond reach. Then the question echoed through him, echoing in the hearts of the gathered. What must we sacrifice in this pursuit of the extraordinary? He stood there, grappling with anticipation, mingled fear, and unyielding hope, knowing one truth remained unsaid. The journey toward revelation had just begun. The flickering light at the altar swelled like a heartbeat, breathing life into a new melody of faith. Samuel opened his eyes, drawn to its glow. It was more than just a light. It was a promise intertwined with the whispers of the congregation. Each face radiated a hunger for truth, an eagerness to unfold what lay before them.
"Let us open our hearts, dear friends," Samuel encouraged, his voice ringing with an urgency that felt both familiar and electrifying. "We have called upon the heavens, and now we must prepare ourselves for their response." A ripple of agreement swept through the gathered souls. They leaned forward, drawn together as if by an invisible thread, shifting the air with their shared anticipation. Samuel felt the unity forge a bond so strong, like the roots of an ancient tree intertwining beneath their feet. He took a deep breath, sensing the weight of the moment, a sacred blend of despair and hope. "Eliza's strength is within us, and we can draw from that as we step into this moment," he declared. "What if here, right now, we discover not just what we seek, but that which we did not even know we needed?" The congregation held its breath, waiting for something more. Just then, a gentle breeze flowed through the open windows, a caress that felt like a soft whisper from the unseen realm. Samuel's heart quickened. They were no longer just a group of grieving souls. They were warriors of faith, ready to engage in the divine dance. "Can you hear it?" he asked, his voice almost cracking. "The wind carries the prayers of the faithful. Can you feel how it invites us to share in this miracle?" With each passing second, the air thickened, heavy with unspoken hopes and dreams, like the weight of incense rising toward heaven. Lifting his hands as if in surrender, it felt to Samuel that he was cradling their collective prayers, grasping tightly at the very essence of their desires. "Can we lay aside our earthly burdens for a moment?" Samuel implored, eyes glistening. "What if we journeyed together into the unknown, casting aside fear? What if we allowed faith to dissolve our doubts?" Shifting, the villagers began to nod, their hearts beating in harmony. Together they echoed in unison, "Yes, we will lay them down." Samuel smiled, his heart flooded with warmth. In that single act of mutual surrender, a new conduit between heaven and earth felt suddenly alive. "I wish to share a truth with you, one that has come to me through prayer." Samuel's voice softened as he painted a picture with words. "The path of faith is not an easy one. It's often strewn with thorns and trials. But, as Eliza taught me, it's in our struggles that we find our sacred strength." Gasps rippled through the congregation as Samuel's words hung in the air like a golden thread of realization. "Perhaps," he continued, "our sacrifices pave roads to divinity. What will we give up to bathe in this light? What fears must we surrender? Will we trust God to carry our burdens?" Suddenly, a radiant beam burst forth from the altar, reflecting vibrant colors that danced upon the walls. Silence enveloped the church, hearts racing in awe. Then a gentle voice, light yet undeniable, whispered to Samuel's spirit, "Be ready, for change is at hand." The villagers shivered in delight, feeling the presence of God enveloping them in love. Yet a question hung over them like a mist. Would they embrace the unfolding story no matter the cost? Samuel opened his eyes wide, his heart brimming with hope. Let us not shun the divine mystery as we seek answers, for sometimes the most profound revelations come in darkest hours. The church held its breath once more, the air shimmering with possibility. They understood, for this journey was just beginning, what divine secrets awaited them next in the intertwining of faith and sacrifice. The atmosphere hummed with an energy that was almost tangible. Samuel stood at the forefront, his heart racing with the weight of the moment. He could sense that something profound was about to unfold. There was a collective awakening taking place, as if the very air had become a sacred vessel carrying their hopes higher, beyond the constraints of their earthly struggles. "Friends," Samuel lifted his voice above the stillness, "as we stand on this precipice of the unknown, let us dive into the depths of our own spirits. What does the light reveal within us? What shadows are we willing to confront?" His question pierced through the silence, a call to action that rippled through the hearts of those present. Eyes widened, and faces reflected the flickering light, a sudden spark of understanding igniting within them. "True courage," Samuel continued, "is not the absence of fear, but the heart's willingness to embrace it." Sister Mary, sitting in the front row, clasped her hands tightly. "Lord, grant me courage," she whispered, her words barely audible yet echoing within the sacred space. Around her, a chorus of quiet affirmations floated up, binding the congregation in a shared resolve. A warmth radiated from the altar, wrapping around them like a comforting embrace. Samuel closed his eyes for a moment, inhaling the scent of incense mingled with the fresh air. It felt as though each breath drew in divine inspiration. He could almost hear the whispering echoes of those who had walked this path of faith before, Eliza among them. "Every challenge holds a blessing waiting to be unfurled," he professed, his voice trembling with passion. "What if the thorns we encounter are the very guides leading us to the roses of God's grace? Together, we must let faith color our perspective." With that, Samuel stepped forward, gesturing toward the light that cast spiritual shadows on the walls. The soft illumination seemed to pulse, inviting and alive. "Whatever hidden sin, doubt, or grief you carry, hold it to the light. Let it be transformed." One by one, individuals began to rise, inspired. The timid, the weary, and the questioning souls took tentative steps forward. Each step was a small act of defiance against the burdens they bore. Tears brimmed in many eyes, hearts started to lift, and murmured prayers began filling the church, a symphony of liberation rising to the heavens.
"Thank you, Lord," someone cried out, and the response swelled, a chorus of gratitude that echoed off the cool stone walls. They stood together in that moment, drawn into a web of collective faith, each person's spirit intertwining in the sacred dance. Suddenly, the light brightened sharply, and the temperature in the room shifted. A ripple of awe swept through the congregation as they sensed a presence surrounding them, something profound, yet intangible. They felt their spirits lifted, and in that sacred space, hearts sang with a freedom found in surrender. "Let us hold the light together," Samuel urged, raising his hands high. "In this moment, we are called not just to witness, but to participate in the divine unfolding. What happens next is determined by our willingness to embrace this light." The church swayed with the energy of faith, the wind beginning to swirl once again through the open windows, carrying their voices higher and higher, intertwining with the whispered secrets of heaven. As the last note faded, a hush fell over them, pregnant with possibility. For in that sacred silence, they felt the weight of God's response hanging heavy in the air, an invitation to delve deeper, to explore the unknown secrets of divine revelation. But what would they uncover as they continued on this journey? Would their fears lead to greater miracles, or would they stumble upon challenges that tested their faith? The congregation stood together, hearts racing as they prepared to embrace the next twist in the divine narrative. As the calm enveloped the congregation, a flicker of uncertainty crept in. Samuel felt the heavy air shift around him, the sacred tension thickening like fog. In this stillness, he sensed a deeper layer of the congregation's collective spirit yearning for guidance, for illumination of their path. "Together, my friends," he began, his voice steady yet soft, "we have taken steps towards the light, but the journey ahead may not be without its trials." Sister Mary lifted her head, tears glistening on her cheeks like drops of dew in morning sun. "What trials lie ahead, Samuel?" she pressed, her voice filled with both wonder and worry. He took a deep breath, grounding himself as he listened to the unspoken murmurs echo in the hearts around him. "Every revelation carries a cost, a sacrifice. Our faith may be tested and our comforts challenged. The road can be an uphill climb, yet even in the face of struggle, we can find hope if we are willing to look closely," he urged. A collective sigh reverberated through the gathered souls, every breath mingling with the potent presence wrapping around them. There was beauty in the concern, a thread weaving trust with vulnerability. "Look at the light," Samuel declared, pointing towards the pulsing glow at the altar. It signifies both the presence of God and the challenges that shape our journey. When we emerge through darkness, dear friends, we may discover miracles overshadowed by our fears. In that moment, a soft rumbling sound reverberated from the very walls themselves, as if the church had a pulse, alive and resonating with their shared energy. Each person's heart quickened, and electric charge ignited their spirits. It was as if their emotions, fears, and hopes coalesced into a single entity, merging with the divine vibrations. A brave young man named Thomas, standing near the back, raised his hand. "But how do we prepare ourselves for this cost?" His voice cracked, trembling with sincerity. "To be prepared, we must cultivate a spirit of surrender. Let go of our earthly attachments and trust that the divine path will always lead us to where we need to be." As he spoke, lights flickered brighter, the atmosphere humming with energy, weaving layers of grace. The congregation felt an unmistakable warmth. It enveloped them, much like a gentle breeze on a summer's day, or the tender touch of a mother's hand. Some closed their eyes, absorbing this enveloping assurance, while others exchanged glances, emboldened by their shared experience. Every time you choose love over fear, you are transforming not just your heart, but the world around you. You step into a divine dance, moving with the very rhythms of heaven. Remember, he added, miracles often dwell in the most unexpected places. Encouraged by the unfolding truth, a delicate hush filled the room, lingering like unspent wind before a storm. Each individual held their breath, caught in the embrace of possibility and purpose. And then, as if summoned by their collective spirit, a flash of white light surged through the church, illuminating the entire space. Gasps fluttered amongst the assembled group. It was as if heaven itself had cracked open, inviting them further into its mysteries. "What is this?" someone whispered, grasping tightly onto the pew in front of them, fear coloring their voice. Samuel's heartbeat quickened, yet he stood firm, a beacon guiding them. "This is a divine invitation. Embrace it. Step forward in faith." The congregation leaned in closer, hearts pulsing in unity with the energy enveloping them. Shadows danced across the walls, weaving figures of hope, change, and promise into their reality. Each member's spirit vibrated, climbing higher alongside their palpable hope for what lay ahead. But still, a question lingered in the air. What were they truly inviting into their lives? As they stood on the brink of revelation, they sensed the enormity of this moment. Would they be ready to embrace what was about to unfold? The congregation held its breath, awaiting the next wave of divine revelation, poised on the edge of something monumental. The radiant light pulsed, filling the church with an ethereal glow, as if time itself momentarily paused to witness the sacredness of the moment. In that brilliance, Samuel felt his heart swell with both fear and anticipation. He understood the gravity of this divine invitation. The very essence of transformation stood before them, cloaked in mystery. "Dear friends," he began, his voice steady, yet mingled with an underlying urgency. "In this sacred space, we are being called to peer into depths we have yet to explore. We are invited to confront not just what lies ahead, but what lies within us." A swell of murmurs arose, a mixture of intrigue and apprehension rippling through the gathering. Their eyes sparkled, mirroring the light that danced around them. Samuel caught Sister Mary's gaze. She held a look of fierce determination, a flame ignited within her spirit. "What if we falter?" Thomas's voice broke through the dim light. "What if we can't withstand the trials?" "Ah," said Samuel, the corners of his mouth lifting gently. "That is the beauty of our faith. It is often in our weakness that we find strength. When we surrender our fear, we make way for the divine to fill us with courage." He gestured again to the pulsing light. "This is more than a beacon. It is a promise that our Creator walks alongside us, even through chaos. Will we trust in this promise?" A quiet descended, broken only by the steady rhythm of hearts synchronizing to a higher call. The air was thick with expectation as each person considered Samuel's words. Would they dare to trust? Would they surrender their doubts to embrace the unfolding glory? Sister Mary raised her hand, a gesture of openness. "What do you see, Samuel? What lies within that light?" Her voice held a childlike innocence filled with hope. Samuel's eyes closed for a moment as he opened his spirit to the divine current swirling around them. He felt visions washing over him, dreams crystallizing like dew on fresh grass, moments of joy and sorrow interwoven into the fabric of existence. "I see our trials bestowed upon us as pathways to divine growth," he replied slowly, his voice imbued with sacred passion. "Each step in the dark is also a step towards grace. Our trials refine us like gold in the fire, melting, reshaping, creating something lovelier than before." A shiver coursed through the crowd. Their eyes glimmered with understanding, yet shadows of doubt lingered. What transformations awaited them? What sacrifices would need to be made to receive such grace? As if sensing their unspoken fears, the wind gently rustled through the open windows, a soft caress on their skin that whispered, "Fear not." Together we are stronger. Each of us carries a thread in this tapestry of faith. The light we see now is a culmination of our collective spirit, molded by the laughter, tears, and prayer of every soul present. A deep breath filled the room as hope began to rekindle, tying their hearts with a gentle thread of trust. They found unity in their vulnerability, a sacred space where fears were confronted and light was welcomed. In that charged atmosphere, Samuel felt another wave of divine energy ripple through the church, urging him onward. "Step forth, dear ones, seek out the mysteries, lay down what binds you, embrace the light that challenges you, for it is that very light that will shape your tomorrow." As he spoke, a hush enveloped them. For a moment, they stood suspended between the seen and the unseen, their breaths held tight within their chests. They were caught in the divine dance, longing to leap into the unknown, yet tethered by the gravity of their fears. Unbeknownst to them, the journey was just beginning, a pilgrimage into the heart of the divine, filled with more secrets yet to unfold. What could possibly await them on the other side of surrender? And what cost would they be required to pay for the transformation of their souls? As the whispers of the Spirit intensified, the congregation felt the call to action grow louder. What mysteries waited beyond their fears? The time had come to find out. The atmosphere in the church shimmered with the anticipation of revelation. Every soul present felt the magnetic pull of the divine energy swirling around them, a gentle wind of inspiration urging hearts to open wider. Samuel took a breath, sensing the moment was ripe for transformation. "Friends," he said, his voice steady and rich, "we stand on the brink of something profound. As we contemplate our journey ahead, we must ask ourselves, what are we willing to surrender in the pursuit of holiness? What weights must we cast aside to embrace the promise of this light?" The air stirred again, and whispers filled the sanctuary, voices mingling with the divine current. "What does surrender truly mean?" someone murmured from the back, uncertainty belied by curiosity. Samuel's eyes swept across the crowd, sparkling with earnestness. "It means letting go of the very fears that hold us captive," he replied, his heart racing with the gravity of his words. It means trusting in the unseen, even when the road appears treacherous. To surrender is to bring forth our vulnerability, and through that, witness the birth of our inner strength. Sister Mary's gaze intensified, reflecting both determination and trepidation. "But what if the darkness becomes too heavy?" she questioned, her voice trembling yet resolute. Samuel nodded, understanding her fear. "Ah, dear sister, it is in the darkness that we often find our truest light. Think of the seed buried beneath the soil, trembling as it pushes through to the surface. It must break apart, be stripped of its old self to rise anew. Are we ready to take that plunge?" A ripple of contemplative silence washed over the congregation. Each face wore the expression of an inward struggle, mind battling spirit, doubt wrestling faith. "Consider," continued he, "the sacrifices made by those who walked the path before us. Our ancestors faced trials, heartaches, and fears, yet they pressed on, fueled by a vision far greater than themselves.
They paved the way for us, with all their burdens echoing through time, urging us to rise with courage." Tears glistened in a few eyes, a warming light of understanding beginning to grow. Samuel leaned in closer, sensing their hearts almost beating as one. "We are the children of this courageous lineage. What if their strength resides in us? What if together we could shape not just our tomorrow, but the world around us?" As he spoke, he could hear the wind pick up, almost in response, rustling the leaves outside and whispering ancient secrets through the windows. He smiled, realizing this moment was not solely for him, but shared by all. "Let us not forget," he urged, raising his voice, "the beauty of community as we walk this path. When one of us shines, we all shine. When we illuminate our deepest fears, we help others see their shadows in the light, offering them the gift of courage. This is the divine economy of love and grace. This is our call." The glow pulsed brighter, and Samuel knew that decisions were being made in hearts still hesitant. He could feel the vibrations of faith stirring. A flicker of hope ignited within the group. Each individual began to grasp the significance of their shared journey. As their hands began to reach out to one another, a harmony swelled in the small church, voices blending in a soft, heavenly melody. The church felt alive. The walls themselves hummed with the energy of prayers, fears, and hopes entwined. "What if we are stronger than we think?" Thomas asked softly, breaking the fragile silence, his voice barely above a whisper, yet full of wonder. "But what if God's plan is even more beautiful than we dare to imagine?" Samuel replied, an edge of excitement in his tone. "When we surrender to the divine light, we discover depths of love and grace that transform us. We may lose ourselves, but we will gain the fullness of life. This is the invitation before us." The light trembled, shifting until it enveloped them all, wrapping around their shoulders like a warm embrace. It was an invitation to step forward, to embrace not just freedom, but the unknown. As they braced for the next step in their journey, a voice deep within echoed a question that hung in the air, heavy yet profound. What sacrifices must they make to unfold the full promise of this transformation, and what untold mysteries could reveal themselves if they dared to step into the light? The warmth of the gathered congregation enveloped Samuel like a soft blanket, and I could feel the longing in their hearts. It was a yearning for change, a desire to step beyond the shadows that had kept them bound. Samuel looked deep into their eyes, seeing reflections of hope and fear mingling together in a dance of divine tension. With a gentle nod, he took another breath, drawing in the sacred atmosphere. "Friends, as we stand united in this moment, let us not shy away from the whispers of vulnerability that call us to deeper faith. What we unearth in ourselves may be the catalyst for the miracles we seek." A gentle murmuring swept through the pews at his words, a mixture of agreement and uncertainty. He could feel the pulse of the group's shared awakening, ignited by the light of understanding. Samuel took a step closer to them, as if inviting them into a hush that thickened the air. We must ask ourselves how often we cling to the very things that weigh us down. What if our reluctance to release those burdens is the only barrier to our divine destiny? He continued. Each word felt like a stone dropped into still water, sending waves of contemplation rippling outwards. Sister Mary bravely raised her hand, breaking the tension like the first rays of sun through storm clouds. But Samuel, how do we know what to let go? Some burdens feel like armor. I fear I won't know how to stand without them. The flicker of fear in her eyes pierced his heart. "Ah, sister," he exclaimed, his voice warm and reassuring, "it is often in surrender that we find our true strength. Think of the butterfly that emerges from the chrysalis. It must struggle to break free, using its own energy to find the light and take flight." "I've felt the weight of my past holding me back," whispered Thomas, his brows furrowing in thought. "How do we move forward without dragging that along with us?" Samuel's heart swelled with compassion for their shared plight. Let us remember that the stories of our lineage are tales of resilience. Each trial is not merely a burden, but an invitation to ascend. We must trust that as we surrender, God cradles us, transforming our weakness into something extraordinarily beautiful. A hush fell over the sanctuary again, the air thick with reverence. They shared glances, weighing their gathering thoughts. Samuel could almost see the chains they carried beginning to crack, releasing rays of light that filled the room. "Faith is not merely belief," he declared, his voice rising with urgency. "It is action. It is the leap we take into the unknown, the risk when we step into the dark, believing the light will guide us. It challenges us. It pushes against our comfort. This is where we meet God." At this, some began to weep quietly, a catharsis washing over them as they let the truth seep in. "And remember, dear friends," Samuel said, his tone tender, "the sacrifice is not a loss. What we lay down is only the beginning of a divine exchange. Our fears, our doubts, our hurt, these are small compared to the glory that awaits us when we dare to leap into His arms." As he spoke those final words, a brilliant light flickered overhead, illuminating the faces around him, creating halos of joy and hidden promises. Hope surged through the congregation, knitting their souls tighter in this shared sacred moment. With newfound determination pooling in hopeful hearts, they looked towards Samuel, ready to embrace the deeper truth that lay just ahead. Samuel felt a gentle nudge within himself, a rising current of divine possibility. "What will it take for us to leap into this new beginning?" he pondered, the anticipation spiraling in the room. The collective breath they held seemed to ask its own question. What awaits us just beyond our courage to believe? The shadows of hesitation loomed, but now, amid the light, a flicker of expectation began to shine. Together, what paths beckoned them to explore? The journey had only just begun. The sun rose gently over Little Hope, spilling warm light into the church as Samuel stood before the congregation, hearts now intertwined, spirit aflame. In that sacred space, the burdens of doubt and fear had begun to float away, replaced by the collective promise of transformation. "Dear friends," Samuel called, his voice echoing with authority and warmth, "we have journeyed through darkness,
And now, basking in this wondrous light, we stand on the threshold of a new dawn, a dawn of possibilities. Faces glowed, highlighted by renewed faith. Samuel could see resolutions flickering behind the eyes of each believer. There was an electrifying sense of hope that coursed through the room, binding them like a holy chain. Each whispered prayer had traveled to the heavens, building a bridge of connection. The light we feel isn't merely a reflection, it's proof that God hears our cries and answers our prayers. It's time, Samuel proclaimed, raising his arms, to step boldly into the miracles waiting for us. Anna's eyes shone as she spoke. But how do we do it, Samuel? How do we take these first steps into the unknown? His answer was immediate and resolute. Through love and unity. The bond we've created here is sacred. When one of us rises, we all rise. Let us share our fears and burdens, for in sharing, we will each carry a piece of the other's weight. As he spoke, an electric hum pulsed through the congregation, igniting hearts to life. One by one, the villagers began to rise, taking tentative steps toward the altar, embodying the courage to lay down their struggles and embrace one another. Samuel watched, warmth flooding his chest. A trembling clasp of hands formed at the altar, intertwining fingers in collective solidarity. Each cried sacred tears, memories flooding back of Eliza's laughter, of their shared joys and pains. Let us remember, Samuel continued, the spirit rising, it is not merely the weight of our burdens we lay down today, but also the fears that blinded us from seeing the profound love God has for each of us. A soft breeze filled the church, a divine breath of inspiration whirling around the gathered souls as if the heavens themselves acknowledged their bravery. One by one, prayers erupted from the congregation. "Lord, I surrender my doubts," whispered Thomas, stepping forward. "Lord, I release my past," echoed Anna. "Father, I seek divine clarity," Sister Mary added, her voice tremulous with emotion. An overwhelming sense of joy filled the church, and Samuel felt the walls vibrate with the energy of their supplications. It was a communion of faith like no other, a testament to the power of unity in action. Then, as if responding to their sincere cries, a radiant light burst forth from the altar, illuminating the entire sanctuary. Gasps filled the air, and everyone turned their eyes wide, witnessing an unveiling of heaven itself, a moment that felt infinite and present, distilling time into a sacred pause. Suddenly, Eliza's laughter floated through the air, ringing clear and pure amidst the divine brilliance. It danced around them, curling into their hearts like sunlight through leaves. "Daddy, I'm here!" The sound echoed, and Samuel felt his heart constrict with a mix of elation and ache. Tears streamed down his face, tears of overwhelming joy, connected to a lost piece of his heart. "Eliza, we are here!" he cried, his voice bursting with life. The spirit of the congregation swelled, hearts uniting as they began to sing, melodies rising like birds finding their wings. They sang for Eliza, for healing, for hope, their voices blending into a sweet harmony of grace and love. As their songs soared, the boundaries of the community melted away. They were woven together by an unbreakable divine connector. Each soul found strength in the others, basking in the warmth of shared belief and love. In that moment, Samuel realized the truth they all needed. The cost of faith was not measured in what they relinquished, but in what they gained. He looked at the faces illuminated by the light of heaven, eyes sparkling with life, and knew that their collective witness of love, prayers, and faith would ripple through time, creating waves of transformation far beyond this moment. The congregation gathered closer, an unbreakable circle of purpose and compassion. "Tonight we will pray, and tomorrow we will rise renewed," unafraid to embrace the light," he exclaimed, and the people erupted in unified cheers. "Let's go share our stories of faith," Thomas exclaimed. "Let's be the light for others." The church ignited with fervor, souls bursting forth to testify to what they had witnessed, the divine connection that engulfed them, the healing laughter of Eliza, and their emerged purpose as messengers of hope. In that moment of renewal, God's presence wrapped around them as a blanket of love, blessing each heart with peace, joy, and a call to rise. Little Hope would never be the same. Their journey was just beginning, and in their steps they would carry the transforming light of faith in their hearts. Now, beloved brothers and sisters, this is the moment. You need to subscribe now to our channel because you don't want to miss the next exclusive faith stories that can change your life. Leave a like on this video. It's vital to feed the algorithm and support our mission of spreading hope.
Comment below with your reactions and testimonies about this ending. We want to hear how this revelation has touched your heart. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible manifestation. Don't wait even one more second. True servants of God understand the importance of supporting one another in faith. So let's uplift each other together.